Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Continuing our Black Series 3 3/4 inch action figure review marathon, we're going to take a look at another iconic character from the original Star Wars trilogy today. And this time around it is none other than this guy, the loyal Millennium Falcon co-pilot himself, the ferocious Wookiee, Chewbacca. This is a really cool figure, and like with Darth Vader that I gave you a look at in my previous review, you're probably thinking, why do I need another Chewbacca in my collection? You know, there's really not a whole lot they can do in terms of outfit change for good old Chewie, but let me tell you, this is an awesome figure. The definitive original Chewie, or original trilogy Chewie, that should be. And yeah, this is definitely one that you should add to your collections if you get the chance. So we'll talk about why this figure is so cool in just a little bit, but before we do, as always, we are going to take a look at the packaging that this guy comes in. Once again, we do have the updated Black Series packaging, which features the TIE Fighter pilot cardback design, and down in the corner there at the front we do have an image of Chewie himself. On the reverse side of the box we get a stylized image from the movie in question, and in this instance it is of course A New Hope, and that particular scene is taken from the Yavin ceremony during the medal presentation. Just above that we get a character description as well. And that's going to do it for the packaging that Chewie comes in. So enough about the cardboard, let's take a look at the plastic, and let me tell you, this figure is very cool. As I mentioned at the beginning of the review, you're probably asking yourself, do I really need another Chewie in my collection? Well, in this figure's case, yes you do, because this is easily, hands down, the definitive 3 3/4 inch Chewbacca figure. For the most part, it does recycle parts from existing figures. However, there are various parts and small details with this figure that just differentiate it from previous figures and really do make it stand out in the collection. So I'll touch base on some of those in just a little bit. Before we do, we'll run through articulation and accessories. And let me tell you, this guy comes with a ton. He does feature a ball-jointed head, although sadly some of that posability has been hindered due to the sculpted fur on the head. We get hinges at the shoulders and elbows, swivels at the forearms, and a triple joint at the torso. We have a joint just there, sort of at the breast, in the midsection there as well, and I believe there is a swivel, although a very tight swivel, just at the waist. We also have swivels at the hips, hinges at the knees, and hinges at the ankles. So, Chewie can do everything that you'd expect him to do. He can sit in the Millennium Falcon, he can hijack an AT-ST, he can do just about everything that you'd expect Chewbacca to be able to do. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the review, this particular figure does recycle parts from previous Chewie figures, and those lie within the weapon, which is of course the traditional Wookiee bowcaster, which sadly doesn't have any paint applications. It's just one solid block of grey, which does take away a little bit from the realism of the weapon. But I've got multiple versions of the bowcaster in my collection already, so that's not a major issue for me personally. And then the rest of the body is actually recycled, once again from one of the 2004 vintage original trilogy collection Chewbacca figures. Although it really is a testament as to how good that figure was, because this body sculpt really does hold up even by today's standards. It's packed with articulation, and it's probably one of the most accurate and reasonable sculpts of Chewie's body that you will see in 3 3/4 inch action figure form. Now, the new elements of this particular figure do lie within the head sculpt, which seems to be a scaled down version of the Black Series 6 inch head sculpt. When you compare the two side by side, this one really does look as though it was taken from the same 3D sculpture or digital sculpture. So a really nice head sculpt, nice neutral expression, although you've still got some of that ferocity and anger within the head sculpt. And it really does look very nice. The sculpted fur flows nicely, and it just looks nice all around. And then the other main feature of this particular figure, which is brand new to this particular figure, is the colour scheme, which as you can see is far more accurate than any previous Chewie figure. It's much more brown, it's much more vibrant, more colourful, and it just looks fantastic. It really does bring this figure to life, and it stands out one hell of a lot more than some of the previous Chewie figures that we've seen in the 3 3/4 action figure line. Some of them have been a little bit dull, a little bit grey. This one is really nice and vibrant, and it looks fantastic. Really does look nice and real, and it's just an all-round awesome looking figure. You can't get much better than this guy. So other than that, there's not much else to say about this figure, other than if you're looking for the definitive Chewie for your 3 3/4 inch action figure collection, look no further than this particular figure, as he is absolutely top notch. So, if you want to add this figure to your collection, then be sure to check out the link in the video description, which once again will take you to our good friends over at staractionfigures.co.uk, who at the time of filming this review do have this particular figure, as well as most of his wave mates in stock, so be sure to check them out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review, I hope you've enjoyed Chewie, and I'll be back to give you a look at some more action figures very, very soon. As I mentioned, got a ton of Black Series figures to give you a look at, so I hope you're all looking forward to those. Until next time guys, as always, thank you for watching this review, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.